Welcome to Tech News Today, a podcast about keeping you informed and empowered by giving you the latest tech stories that impact your daily life. It's Tuesday, October 9th, and I'm Spike Spangle. Coming up in a bit, Google is finally revealing details on its Pixel 3 phones. Plus, some popular smart TVs have a bug that lets hackers take control. And Apple is finally fixing some annoying problems with its operating system. All that and more in Tech News Today from Commando.com. We start with a little preview of the new Pixel 3. Google will be holding its reveal event Tuesday morning, obviously after we have recorded this podcast. But here are a couple of things to watch for. The tech giant is expected to announce more than new phones this year, but the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL should be headliners. Tons of details have already leaked about the new gadgets. Some of the devices were even reportedly being sold in Hong Kong days before their official release. Here's some of what we know. Both models are said to come with wireless charging, which is a great feature coming with newer gadgets. They will also have dual front-facing cameras that take spectacular photos, which could be the best upgrade to this already quality line of phones. Faster processors and better graphics are some other things to watch for. Events like these are always exciting. There's nothing better than tech giants trying to outdo each other with their latest products. It's truly a win for consumers. Do you have a smart TV in your home? They have truly changed the home entertainment experience, mostly for the better. Being connected to the internet means you can save tons of money by using streaming services instead of paying for cable. But there is one drawback to being connected to the internet. Hackers can find ways to break into your devices. That's actually what's happening right now with one of the most popular TV makers in the world. There are a handful of Sony Bravia smart TVs that have a flaw which would allow hackers to take control. Security researchers found 3 critical bugs on certain Bravia models that would let hackers execute remote code with elevated privileges. That means they could have exploited the flaws, then install malware to use the TV as part of a botnet or even infect other gadgets connected to the home network. The good news is there's a fix. Sony sent a firmware update that patches the bug, but you need to make sure that it's installed and your TV is safe. Go to Commando.com and read our Happening Now story titled, "If you have this TV, it has 3 critical bugs, so update the firmware." In the article, you will find every impacted model, along with the latest firmware version that you should be running. It also tells you how to find this information and update the firmware in case you need help. Check it out. It'll only take a few minutes, and it'll help your devices stay safe. And right now, a quick thank you to our friends who help make this podcast possible. Do you remember us telling you about some annoying problems with the latest iPhones? The XS and the XS Max have only been out for a couple of weeks now, and there's already issues causing fans to freak out. You'd think if you shell out over $1,000 for that shiny new iPhone, it would work better than your old one. But that wasn't always the case with the XS versions. One problem people are complaining about is the bad Wi-Fi reception they're getting with the new gadget when compared to older models. There's also a problem with charging some of the XS models. They wouldn't charge when connected to a lightning cable. The good news is Apple is fixing those issues. With an operating system update, its iOS 12.01 started rolling out Monday. It's supposed to fix the problems we just mentioned, along with a few other tweaks to make your gadget run smoother. If you want to update your system, open Settings and tap General, then tap Software Update. If there's an update available, it will show you, and just click on Download and Install. Your gadget will be charging in no time. Here's another annoying problem with Apple's newest gadgets. This one is affecting Apple Watch Series 4 owners. Apparently, there's a bug in the smartwatch that is causing them to crash and get stuck in reboot mode. The problem is related to daylight savings time. It appears the watch infograph modular face isn't able to handle the loss of an hour. When daylight savings time happens, the watch crashes. Well, that's not happening here in the US, so why is this a big problem? Well, people in Australia found that out firsthand today. Daylight savings is the exact opposite there. They jump ahead an hour on the first Sunday in October. That's when chaos ensued for Apple fans and the watches started in a never-ending reboot loop. The problem goes away the following day though. Once the watch gets back to normal, 24 hours in a day, routine, it works fine again. But that's a pretty glaring problem, even if it only lasts for one day. Apple will need to issue a patch with a software update. Hopefully it does so before we adjust our clocks again here in the United States. If you're sick of all the recent Facebook screw-ups, you're not alone. With all the strange stories populating the site and then finding out it's been handing over tons of personal information to other companies, you might be thinking about deleting it altogether. But where could you get your social media fix then? Well, bad news. Google is no longer an option. Years ago, the tech giant came out with its own social media platform to compete with the likes of Facebook and Instagram. It was called Google+, and if you haven't heard about it, that's not a shock. It's one of the few Google products that ended up being a flop. Not many people bought into it, which we're now learning is a good thing. That's because Google+ had a major undisclosed security flaw that exposed hundreds of thousands of users' profiles, information. Names, email addresses, occupations, age, and more were all exposed, even when it was listed as private and not public information. The bug seems to have been active for a few years, from 2015 to 2018. Now, Google is just giving up on the platform. It announced this week that in light of the security flaw, along with not many users, Google+ will be shut down over the next 10 months. Can you hear a platform shut down in the forest if no one uses it? Have you been paying attention to the amazing things SpaceX has been up to lately? It's the space exploration company owned by Elon Musk and has taken over many areas that are no longer being covered by NASA by privatizing research. Its latest venture is sending its first crewed flight to the International Space Station. NASA announced this week that SpaceX will send the manned rocket in June of 2019. If for the timetable, that launch hasn't changed. A NASA rep said, "This new process for reporting our schedule is better. Nevertheless, launch dates will still have some uncertainty, and we anticipate they may change as we get closer to launch." In the future, NASA plans to use SpaceX and Boeing to take astronauts to the space station for regular missions that last about 6 months. It will be the first manned U.S. launch to the space station since the Space Shuttle program was retired in 2011. Have you cut the cord yet? With reasonably priced streaming services out there, it's crazy to keep paying up to $200 per month just to watch cable TV. Boy, do I agree with that. And things are about to get better for cord cutters. That's because Walmart just announced it's going to partner with MGM to create content for its Vudu on-demand video service. The retailer bought Vudu about 8 years ago and has been trying to make it better to compete with Amazon's Prime Video. Now, Walmart will be able to put up original series made by MGM on Vudu. The programming will focus on family-friendly content that Walmart customers prefer. This move could really help Walmart compete with the major players in the world of streaming like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. By the way, once you're done listening to our podcast, do us a favor and give us a good rating on wherever you're listening to us. Write us a few nice words so others can find our podcast more easily. We'd really appreciate it. And finally, for today's Commando Kicker. We were living in the past, thinking of UFOs were shaped like saucers. The real shape to have is that of possibly a cigar. Obviously, it would be much more aerodynamic, but wait. There's no air in space. Well, scientists have discovered the truth about a mysterious space rock called Oumuamua, which was spotted in Earth's solar system last year. It apparently left its home millions of years ago and is moving faster than the existing laws of celestial mechanics. What you need to take from all this is that aliens may be closer than we've previously thought, and they might be appeased with cigars. For more fun and interesting facts, go to Commando.com and search for the Commando Kicker. Well, that's our tech news today from Commando.com. And right now, another quick thank you to our partners who help make this podcast possible.